Have you ever wondered how to make learning more engaging, practical, and fun for your children? Well, there's a powerful tool in our educational arsenal that can do just that: project-based learning. This dynamic approach to teaching fosters a deeper understanding of subjects by actively exploring real-world problems and challenges. Project-based learning, or PBL, is not just about memorizing facts and regurgitating them on a test. It's about encouraging our children to be curious, to ask questions, and to seek out answers. It's about developing critical thinking skills, creativity, and problem-solving abilities. It's about preparing our children for a rapidly changing world where the ability to adapt, innovate, and solve problems is more valuable than ever before. PBL brings learning to life, transforming it into an active, hands-on experience that sticks with children long after the final bell rings. So how do we encourage our children to initiate their own projects? The first step to encouraging children to start their own projects is to ignite their interest. The magic of project-based learning lies in its ability to connect education with the real world. It's all about making learning relevant and meaningful by tapping into the natural curiosity of children. So, how do we identify what sparks their interest? Well, it's simpler than you might think. Pay attention to their play, observe what they are drawn to. Is it building blocks, drawing pictures, or perhaps they are fascinated by the stars in the night sky? Conversations are another window into their world. Talk to them about their favorite topics, ask open-ended questions, and listen, truly listen. These interests and passions are not just fleeting childhood hobbies. They are the fertile soil from which innovative projects can grow. Once you've identified their interests, it's time to use these as a foundation for a project. With their interest as a starting point, the next step is to help them plan their project. Now, a project without a plan is like a journey without a map. So it's crucial to have a clear, achievable goal and a plan of action. Think of it as the North Star guiding the ship. It gives direction and purpose. But how do we go about this? Well, it's all about breaking down the project into manageable tasks. Imagine trying to eat a whole cake in one bite. Quite impossible, isn't it? But if you cut that cake into slices, it becomes much more manageable. It's the same with planning a project. As parents, your role is to guide your children in this process. Help them identify the tasks needed to achieve their goal and prioritize them. Teach them the value of setting timelines and deadlines and the importance of staying on track. With a plan in place, it's time to get to work. Now that we have a plan, it's time to put it into action. This is where the magic truly happens. Executing the project is where children can take the driver's seat, steering their ideas into reality. It's an exciting time, but it's also a critical stage where the role of parents becomes more of a supportive one. You see, when children lead the execution, they feel a sense of ownership. They're not just following instructions, they're making decisions, solving problems, and learning through experience. It's this hands-on approach that makes project-based learning so powerful. But what can parents do to help without taking over? First, provide resources. This doesn't necessarily mean buying expensive equipment. It could be as simple as giving them access to the kitchen for a cooking project or helping them find online resources for a research project. The goal is to enable them, not to do it for them. Next, offer guidance when needed. You're there as a mentor, not as a manager. If they get stuck, ask questions that guide them to find the solution, instead of providing it directly. For instance, if they're building a model and it keeps falling apart, instead of fixing it for them, you might ask, what do you think is causing it to fall? How can we make it stronger? Lastly, celebrate progress. Whether it's a small milestone or a major breakthrough, acknowledging their achievements fosters their confidence and motivation. Don't just wait for the final product, appreciate the process. Say things like, I love how you figured out that problem, or your hard work is really showing. Remember, the goal isn't to create a perfect project. It's to create a learning experience. Mistakes will be made, and that's okay. In fact, those are the moments where the most learning happens. So encourage them to take risks, to experiment, and most importantly, to enjoy the process. Once the project is in motion, remember that learning is a journey, not a destination. So, what happens when children take charge of their own learning through projects? Well, we've traversed quite a journey together through this video, haven't we? We've talked about the power of project-based learning, how to spark interest, plan a project, and then execute it. But now, let's talk about the end game. What's the real impact of this type of learning? Project-based learning is a game changer. It enhances engagement as children become active participants in their learning journey. They're not just passive recipients of information anymore. They're explorers, creators, and thinkers. They're involved, and that involvement brings about a profound connection to the knowledge they're gaining. But the impact goes deeper than just engagement. It leads to a deeper understanding of concepts. When children learn by doing, they're not just memorizing facts. They're understanding the why and the how behind those facts. They're seeing the practical application of what they're learning, which makes the knowledge stick. And then there's the development of essential life skills. Project-based learning is a breeding ground for problem-solving, critical thinking, and creativity. When children are given the freedom to explore their interests and solve problems, they're flexing and strengthening these vital skills. They're learning how to think, not just what to think. Moreover, project-based learning fosters resilience and adaptability. As children navigate through the challenges of their projects, they learn how to bounce back from failures and adapt their strategies for success. These are skills that will serve them well in their academic journey and beyond. But perhaps one of the most significant impacts of project-based learning is on a child's sense of self. As they take charge of their learning, they gain confidence. They realize they're capable of creating, of solving problems, of learning independently, and that's a powerful realization. Project-based learning not only makes education more engaging and practical, but it also prepares our children for the real world. Let's help them take charge of their learning journey.